Hopefully you're not too busy. You got some time for me tomorrow because I want to go through this book with you. If you got time, if you got time for me. Um, Thank you for my mark of love. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, all of the kingdom members, I need everybody in here to share and I need you to work the comments. Share and work the comments, share and work the comments because y'all know they took my account. Then I didn't have the ability to live stream. So I can finally live stream again. So here I am. But y'all know, well, some of y'all don't know this because you haven't had an account taken. Hey, Rain Day, but when they take your account, when you come back, you don't show up on like the FYP. You get shadow banned. So, hey, Charlotte. So all of y'all literally have to share, and everybody has to be constantly working the comments, even more so than usual. And that will help us get back out there. Okay. I do have my big finger today, but I think we will save the big finger for tomorrow. You said you was wondering why I wasn't showing up. Yeah, girl, I got banned. But I mean, they're coming after all of us left and right. Y'all know Becca Day, and Becca is an amazing journalist. She is an amazing reporter, and she has been on top of this current administration, exposing the corruption. Paper trails, documentation, all of that. They got her page taken down too, like less than 48 hours ago. So she has a backup. I'll share her backup in the stories. I think there's already like 20,000 of us that have found her and are following her over there. But yes, a government official got her page taken down. Sure did. So hopefully it's gonna get back up. And then I saw what's his name? Aaron Parnas. I saw him in the comments saying he was gonna reach out to some of his contacts at TikTok too to see if he could get her page restored. But when I tell y'all that they be on our top, that they are after all of us that are like putting out what is accurate and what is true. Like I'm not joking. I'm not being dramatic. Okay. They are getting a lot of us up out of here left and right. Okay. So literally when you're a member of our community, like I said, just not for me, if there's someone else, you enjoy their content, you enjoy the information that they're putting out, like you need to do everything that you can to support those people. Thank you for all those market loves, Pen. Thank you. And y'all, you can support in different ways. Like, of course, I'm thankful to people like Pen and the Vogue Room and Charlotte Allen. They come in here and they like just notes of music. Y'all flood me with gifts, and I appreciate that very much. But even if you can't send a gift, y'all sharing the live out to other people, working the comments, like making sure that you're always typing and texting stuff inside of there, double tapping the screen when you see our other content, like our regular content that's just on our timeline or our page, making sure that you're like actually watching the videos, commenting on them, things like that. All of those sorts of types of things, they help us. Because what they're doing with accounts like ours, especially if you got this going on, they're actively suppressing our content. So it's not reaching as many people. So literally, if there's someone and you really, really like their information, make sure you like jot down their or their handle name as well. So if you're like, hey, a couple days went by and I didn't see them, you can go over and manually search our pages and come and look at the content and stuff like that. Okay. So for sure. Let's see. It says reveal the unique community gift available to only you and your fans. Reveal. I don't know. I hear reveal. I didn't see anything pop up. Do y'all see something? I don't see anything. Anyway, that doesn't matter. And Notes of Music, thank you for sharing. Vogue Room, thank you so much for sharing. Hey, Rain Day. Okay, so you said that's what you've been doing. I appreciate you. Got to go. Yeah, like it's getting tough out in these streets, y'all. Like, I mean, this is literally what censorship looks like. So we're gonna go through regular news update first, and then we're gonna talk about America and Iran, and I'm going to give you guys some details about the proposed deal. And this is the thing, this proposed deal is actually legitimate because I went and checked over in Iran, and Aragachi did say like, this is what's been proposed. But now it's getting dicey because America is coming back and saying, no, this is not the proposal. There are only these 5 points that are there. And Aragachi is like, nah, dog, this is what we propose to be there. And we know that Big Orange and them are notorious for, being in negotiation and then turning around and blue, them. So that's what I said. It's kind of like grain of salt, you know what I'm saying? I want to see what happens over the weekend. And it's a really odd deal because part of the terms of this deal is they're basically signing paperwork to negotiate. Okay. It's so it's like a deal to make a deal. That sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but I mean that's what it is. It's a deal to make a deal. So anyway, like I said, we're going to get into the details about that. Let's start with regular news updates right now so we can go through those so y'all can kind of be caught up on what's been happening over the past 72 hours. Does it sound good to everybody? If that sounds good to y'all, let me know. Throw like a little crown in the chat. And we can get to it. Also, I need everybody that believes in the Lord to give me a hey, God, hey, because that's who gave me the gifts of business, beautification, hospitality. Been able to use them to make a crap load of money for myself. But more importantly, I'm really proud of the fact that I have been able to help over 900 people make money with their social media accounts. Okay. So if any of you guys are interested in getting your accounts monetized, selling your own products and services, getting into affiliate marketing, I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. I think I'll be on tomorrow around 2 in the afternoon, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to do a little bit of educational training probably tomorrow and Sunday. Okay. Also, for any of you guys that want to work with me and you weren't able to get into Instacorn Academy because all of the seats did fill up, I have another program that's called Kingdom Essentials. Kingdom Essentials is a foundational program. It's not as extensive as Instacoin, but Kingdom Essentials will definitely get you on the road to making money. And I have a lot of clients that go through that program, and it gets them up to like $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Okay, so if you know that you would be very happy making an extra $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, get into Kingdom Essentials. What I did is I took the price down, and basically I made it $997 for a whole entire year, not for a month, but for a year. Okay. So if you want to get in, DM me the word Kingdom Essentials and I will get you the link with the big discounted price. Also, y'all asked me to bring back some affordable workshops. We have 2 affordable workshops for the month of June. And also, last but not least, I'm coming to Washington, D.C. At the end of this month. So I'm going to be hosting an in-person workshop on the 28th. And we're going to be focused specifically on sales conversion during that workshop in D.C. Okay. So literally, if you want to participate in any of that, when you look in my bio, there is a button that says Juneteenth deals. It says Juneteenth celebration. Tap that button and you'll be able to see all of the info there. Okay. Hold on. Let me get the link because I forgot if y'all are watching on Facebook, y'all may not be able to see the link. So hold on. I'm going to drop the link. Boom. Let me put a title on it so people know what it is. Juneteenth deals. Okay. Boom. There's a link. I just put it in the chat. So anybody that's watching me on YouTube or Facebook, you should be able to see it. And I just pinned it. Well, I'm trying to pin it. There we go. I pinned it across the screen. Okay. So all of that good stuff. All right. You said I'm serving more than info today. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. Okay, so let's get into some of the news updates. So first of all, in Midland, Texas, unfortunately, there was a mass shooting that happened earlier this morning. The assailant, the active pewer, he unfortunately injured 10 people. They said 4 of those people, he injured 10 people. Right now, that's the count. They said it could increase. 4 of those 10 that were injured have had to have operations. So they're currently in the OR, or they have been in the OR. And unfortunately, there is one who has passed away already. So I wasn't able to find any details yet about what the motivation of this act of pew pewer was, but that did happen in Midland, Texas earlier today. I started seeing reports around 10:50 a.m. Central Standard Time. And when I went to last go and look, it was about 1:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so that's all the information that I have about that situation. And I'm sure over the weekend, more information and more details will roll out. Okay. Next, y'all know the people. Well, some of y'all probably didn't know this. And I got a whole list of like news that we need to talk about, things that I haven't had time to tell y'all about. But y'all, so the people, like the actual people, like the citizens, took Big Orange to court about this UFC fight that's supposed to be happening this weekend. Okay. So y'all already know that there was some insider trading that went down. Okay. And basically the people were saying like, hey, the White House lawn, the Capitol Mall, these things all belong to the people, but there are all these private investors and private companies that are making money, and this UFC fight is not free to the public. And so that's a violation. Okay. So they took Big Orange to court about that. But Big Orange was able to win because the judge was like, well, there's not necessarily a huge amount, there's not necessarily a huge amount of harm or damage that has been done. So they don't see a reason to stop the fight. Okay. However, the people are saying that the Lord may stop the fight because there's rain in the forecast for this upcoming Sunday, which is supposed to be the day of this UFC fight. Okay. And they do have huge companies that are sponsoring this fight. And they also are selling tickets for like $1.5 million to be a part of this fight. Okay. So yeah, now Big Orange did win that case, but he lost the case about his name remaining on the Kennedy Center. The judge was like, hey, your name got to come off of there. Apparently they appealed it, and the judge was like, no, you need to take it down today. So I went and found people that live around the Kennedy Center. And indeed, I did see videos of scaffolding up, and they are removing Big Orange's name from the Kennedy Center building. Okay. Next. Apparently this morning, for those of you that use Meta, that's like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, everything inside of their network, they had a major outage this morning. And the outage was not only in America, it was also across the pond. Okay. Next, there is a family that's down in Taylor, Texas, and this is a wealthy family, and they donated 87 acres of their land to be used for city parks. They wanted the youth that lived inside of the city to be able to have a park, to be able to hang out in, just do stuff that you do in the park. And so apparently, instead of the city building the park on the land is what it was supposed to be, is what it was donated for. The city decided to sell the land for $10 million to a data center, and they're in the process of building a 135,000 square foot data center on the property. Okay. And speaking of the data centers, one of the things I forgot to tell y'all about, this is like 5 or 6 days ago. There is a town, and their local officials voted to have the data center inside. Even though the people all showed up, they all protested, they all said we're against it, they all said we don't want this data center, the city officials were like, well, the data center is coming. So what this town did is they got together and they voted out every single one of the officials that voted yay for the data center. So I do just want to remind y'all that literally you have power. And I know y'all get tired of people saying like, show up and vote, show up and vote, show up and vote. But seriously, voting in local elections has very big consequences. Even with everything that's happening right now with this Carmelo Anthony, the case, the verdict, everything that's going on, I think sometimes people forget that you vote on judges. Okay. You can't just have a judge over a specific region or over a specific circuit without the people showing up and voting. So again, a lot of times we're upset about the injustice, the imbalance. We're upset about different things that are happening. However, we're not exercising our right to put different people in the positions as far as like your mayors, your governors, your judges, your aldermen, your land commissioners, your DAs, all these types of people. We're not paying attention to who's being put in position, but it absolutely, positively, 100% does impact your daily life and your quality of life. And even, when trouble knocks at your door, when you're in an uncomfortable or unfortunate or tragic situation, how things are going to be dealt with. So, I just want to encourage y'all to register to vote. Now, I know people get tired of me talking about this, but I'm not going to stop talking about it, because every time I do my little spiel, there are always people that jump into my inbox and they tell me this is their first time that they have ever registered to vote, and they're looking for direction or looking for things to do. But that gets me very excited that there are adults, you know what I mean, understanding that they need to take these things seriously. And I need all of us to be this way with people that we go to church with, people that are our neighbors, your children that are in your household, your teens that are coming of age and they're going to be able to vote. This is very important, you guys, because back in the day when we were voting, we were getting things that were helping us advance as a people. Just, throwing that out there. Okay. Continuing on. Big Orange is now pushing the Republicans to pass laws to void his impeachment. I'm not really sure if this is possible. I've never heard of an impeachment being invalidated. And also, he went into a full-blown panic early this morning on Truth Social, because he is afraid about in 2027 getting impeached again. And for whatever reason, he has a lot of disdain towards Representative Al Green. So anyway, he is like on their tops, on their necks. They're like, you got to get rid of them. They're going to impeach me again. Yada, yada, yada. Yip, yip, yip. Okay. You say it needs to be done. Child, it does, but let me stay focused on the news before I've been to say something that got myself banned again. Let me stay focused. Let's continue on with the news. Okay, everybody say news. Put news in the chat. Put news in the chat. Nina, thank you so much for my mark of love. Thank you, baby doll. Let's just stay focused on the news right now, okay? Next. Oh gosh, okay. You said you already got what? You got YouTube pulled up as a backup, baby. I heard that, okay. And I need everybody, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and y'all work the comments, okay. You work the comments. Thank you very much. All right. So Petey Weedy, he got put out of France and he got put out of Norway. So apparently they were having a big event, to kind of recognize, what happened with, y'all know everything that's gone down over there with the to the Ish people and the Aussies and all of that good stuff. Okay. And they were having like a remembrance event and talking about how, as the nations, everybody came together to fight against fascism. And, they're here to honor the men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice of their lives and blah, 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 blah. And Petey Weedy gets up on the microphone and starts going ham and basically calls all of them wussies and weenies and talks about how, Big Orange is the only president with the guts and this and this and that. And they was like, it squeezed me. It squeezed me, sir. Charlotte, thank you for my mark of love. They were like, I know you effing lying. And they was like, you got to go. Skedaddle. They kicked him out the country. And I think in Norway, they assigned him person non grata. Okay. Now, on top of this, he's been very mischievous. He's gone through the 180 recognized religions, and he's cut them down to 30. I was very interested about this. If I'm not mistaken, Muslims, it's like the second largest religion, and there's multiple denominations, and they barely have any representation. And of the 180 that he cut down, the 30 that are remaining, like 80% of them align uh, with evangelical white Christian nationalist denominations. So I'm not really sure, how he's determining this for the rest of the world, but this is definitely going to go into effect in America and within our military. So I thought that was very interesting and also very scary. Also, the oh, I forgot to tell y'all, Red Bull purchased Spirit Airlines for a little bit over $7 billion. So Spirit is back up and operational. Now I have no idea, how they're going to use the company, how they're going to restructure, what's going to be happening with the CEO. I don't know if they're going to rehire all the 16,000 people that lost their jobs. I don't have any details like that. But Red Bull, yes, Red Bull purchased Spirit Airlines. That did happen. They were able to get the deal to go through. So, okay, I guess Red Bulls literally is going to have wings now. Okay, and are they going to give people Red Bulls on the flights? I don't know. Okay, lots of questions, lots of things to find out or to figure out. Of course, all y'all know that Big Orange went to the Knicks game and got booed. And then during that game, he fell asleep and the Knicks also lost. So I thought this was hilarious. Like, y'all, this is my thing. First of all, I love New York. Shout out to everybody in the kingdom that lives in New York, born and raised in New York, got ties to New York. All of the New Yorkers, I love New Yorkers. And y'all know I'm a Southern Belle. And so I remember the first time I went to New York, I was afraid because people were like, people in New York are so rude. People in New York are nasty. No, they're not, y'all. People in New York are just direct. The people of New York have been the most hospitable. They have been the kindest to me, the kindest. You understand? Like, they could tell that I wasn't from around there. They would make sure I could get a taxi. They would give me directions. They would tell me, like where to go. That people in New York have been so kind to me. Back in the day when I was dating, I dated, a few cats from New York. I had a wonderful time. They always were wonderful and amazing, hospitable to me. Like, New York gets a bad rep. People in New York are not mean. They're just direct. And I love doing business in New York because in New York, if somebody says, I'm going to work with you or I fool with you or I want to get together and collaborate with you, they really mean it in New York. I can't say that when I go to the West Coast in Cali. And don't get me wrong, Cali, y'all got the sunshine and the beaches. But in California, people love to have a meeting about a meeting about a meeting about a meeting, especially in the Valley and especially in LA. Okay. And people, will say one thing to your face and do another behind your back. In New York, they're just straight up. If they fooling with you, they fooling with you. If they not fooling with you, they not fooling with you. And they going to tell you, I don't fool with you. And this is the reason why. That's it. They're not mean. They're just direct. Okay. It's not a lot of small talk going on there, but they're very, very kind people and very helpful and very hospitable people. So, and they're also very festive people. Okay. People in New York are down for some shenanigans. Okay. I promise you, they down for the shenanigans and the fashions, but definitely the shenanigans. So after Big Orange left the stadium, the people of New York came together, y'all, and this was tickling me. I went down the rabbit hole for an hour. All kinds of different people who have different modalities, spiritual beliefs, all people that have different metaphysical alignments, all came together to cleanse the stadium. There were people smudging. There were people out there with their rosary beads. There were people that were chanting. I think I saw a couple of monks out there. Hey, Chastity. What's going on, gorgeous? Thank you for my gift, Nina. Thank you for my lemonade. Baby, it was hilarious. Okay. They said, baby, this bad energy got to get up out of here. Okay. They said that everybody said we may not all have the same practices, but we know that ish ain't right. Okay. Baby, them videos were tickling me. Okay. And then Jordan showed up with her lucky purse, and clearly it worked. Okay. Clearly it worked. It worked because the Knicks did win. Okay. So anyway, baby, yeah, the people said the juju was sour. They said, baby, I seen the hoodoo practitioners out there. I seen the voodoo practitioners out there. Okay. I seen the African spiritualists out there. I saw some oracles out there. When I say I saw so many different people that have so many different religious like practices and disciplines all coming together to say we got to cleanse this place. We got to get that spirit, that energy. You know it's bad when people of all these different metaphysical practices all are like, you're evil. Everybody was going to their source, okay, to clear it up out of there. And you only see something like that in New York. Baby, New York is its own. I don't know how to explain it. New York is its own vibe. It's its own energy. It's like it does its own thing. New York is not like anywhere else in the United States, okay? And like on Halloween, baby, y'all ain't seen nothing. When I say the way them subways be packed in New York with all the people like costumed up from head to toe, I had no idea until this is probably like maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. And it was my first time in New York during like Halloween, and we were down in Greenwich and everybody was shutting down everything like super early. And I was like, what's going on? Why is everybody shutting down everything in the city so early? And they're like, oh, it's Halloween. You know, it's a big parade. We have a big party. The nightlife scene is going to be out of control. Baby, it was something to see. You hear me? And I was like, yeah. So anyway, long story long, shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to the New Yorkers. Okay. Hold it down, POP, Knicks and 5, okay? And shout out to all the spiritual mamas and all the spiritual daddies that came out to do their work, okay? Everybody was praying and smudging and throwing oil and sweeping and everything else that they needed to do for the Knicks, okay? And clearly your prayers were heard, all right? So anyway, a little good news. And if you give it, and also there's this guy named Freddie that's here from the UK because y'all know the World Cup is going on. And it's being hosted on the North American continent. And Freddie and all of these Europeans are just having a good old funky time over here in America, which I think is very nice because our government is not being nice. So what is going on is you have lots of soccer players, the staff members, the photographers, their PR agents, even the referees. They have all been properly vetted. They are supposed to be here to participate and play. And our code people, y'all know the I to the C to the E, they are literally, okay, causing issues for these people from other countries. Even in Africa, some of the teams are not even able to get their visas, even though they did everything right, okay? They are taking star players and holding them up in customs and putting them in, detaining them, questioning them for 7 and 8 hours at a time. Some of the referees, they're not allowing them to come into the country. Some of the staff members, like this is a mess. With the Iranian team, I believe they're being hosted in Mexico. And so they have like a very strict itinerary. They're under strict supervision. They can only come in to play and they immediately have to like leave and go back into Mexico. Y'all, it's a whole mess. Okay. We're not looking good on the world front. Okay. Now in the meantime, though, you have a lot of Europeans that are here and they're like, while I'm in America, I want to go to Walmart and Waffle House. If you need a little giggle or you need to be entertained, I would implore you to go down the rabbit hole of watching these Europeans like just have a good, I don't know why, baby, they are obsessed with Walmart, okay? They cannot get enough of Walmart. They are all in there. They are constantly shopping. And yes, they're like, this is diabetes, this is cholesterol. I don't care. Get in my belly, get in my cart. Okay. And they, for whatever reason, all of them like really want to go to the Waffle House and they are tripped out. They are going to the fast food restaurants and they are amazed with how good our food is. And I'm like, yeah, now you see why everyone in America, you know, is constantly having to battle. Okay. All the time. They're going to see the shorelines. They're going to see the architecture. I'm surprised Freddie didn't go to the strip club. I thought somebody in Atlanta was going to go pick him up and host him to go to the strip club, okay? He said they sick of them beans for breakfast. They definitely are sick of the beans for breakfast. And this is the thing. I feel like if they had some beans, like some soul food beans, like the way that we cook them, or if they had some beans from the Mexicans, because let me tell you this, and I'm saying this as a Black woman, a very proud Black woman, a Black woman that can rattle them pots and pans, a Black woman that really can cook. Baby, I'm going to give it to my Mexican sisters with them goddamn beans. Okay? The Mexican ladies, oh, they can cook some MF and beans. Stop playing. Don't be, if you can't tell the truth, you're a hater. Okay, you're a hater. All right. The Mexican people, like, our beans are good, but I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like, baby, the Mexican gals, they can get down on them beans. All right. You said they'd have flooded the grocery stores, right? Everything in Google Translate. The Europeans having a good old time. Okay, they're having a good old funky time over here in America, going to Walmart and Waffle House and eating 4 for $4s. And going to Taco Bell late at night. Okay, they also seem to be very amazed by the high schools and the stadiums and how they're set up. So I had to go and look up high schools over there, and I was like, it is a very, very different experience. Okay, so, a little bit of good news. So is our government being turds? Yes, absolutely. Our government is being turds, and the government is embarrassing us here in America when it comes to the World Cup. But the people that are over here, they're enjoying the things. Okay, so I haven't seen any of them really desire to go to any of the landmarks. They just kind of want to do like regular stuff. Okay, they're trying to get the full Americano experience, and a lot of them seem to be amazed with how big everything is here. They're like, everything in America is huge. They're like, the buildings are huge, the schools are huge, the food is huge, the people are huge. They're like, why is everything so big in America? So yeah. All right, so next. Oh, in Ohio, there is breaking news. It broke and it's getting suppressed. But basically, the people of Ohio are really upset because their Republicans secretly gave tax breaks to Meta, Google, and Amazon to build data centers there. And apparently, they don't have to pay any sales tax, 100% tax exemption. And now Ohio is 1.5 billion short in their budget. And so they're scrambling, trying to figure out how to make this up. And apparently these tax exemptions are for 40 years. And there's not a way for them there's not a way that they can reverse this. So, and basically they're sounding the alarm to say that, you need to be seeing what's going on in other states to see if your government has made these types of deals or these types of pacts with these data centers. Yeah, 40 years, no taxes, insane. Let's see. Next, MAGA Mike has decided to shut down. He's decided to shut down Congress and put them all off work for the next couple of weeks. This is after video, audio, and I did put the audio up, and I guess it was being suppressed, or maybe y'all didn't care, but I did post this a few days ago on TikTok and on Instagram and on Facebook. This particular post hardly has any views, but it's actually his voice. It's an actual clipped call from him, and basically he's talking about his plans to get rid of Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security, and to pull all of the funding from that. Now he came back out later and he apologized. They tried to backpedal and pop and say it was just a mistake. It was an accident. It was taken out of context. Baby, the conversation was not taken out of context. Okay. He said what he said. Okay, he meant what he said. Hey, R Diggs, and they're talking about the biggest expense, but yet no, the biggest expense is they keep ramping up and giving billions of dollars to the code people, okay, and to the military. This is the issue, okay. So when we talk about the cost of living crisis, when we talk about the affordability crisis that's happening in America, this has a whole lot to do with it. And people thought I was joking when I was like, hey, you need to get ready, to either move your parents in with you or move in with your parents as they age, because a lot of the funding, a lot of the resources, a lot of the mechanisms that should be in place to assist with their care as they age and as they get older, they're going to be completely gone. And if you're a millennial, you absolutely 100% really need to work into starting to get an IUL policy. And if you already home, try to get a second home that you can use for rental income. But you may need to reverse mortgage that home or sell that home when you get older, so you have money to be able to take care of yourself. And I'm not being dramatic. So this is one of the reasons that I have all of my workshops on sale. This is one of the reasons that we took Kingdom Essentials and marked it down to next to nothing. Y'all do realize getting into Kingdom Essentials for a year is like less than $85 a month. It's less than $97 a month to get training so you can start making an extra $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Because the reality is, the majority of y'all, there's a lot of things that you don't have in place. There's a lot of things that you don't know. There's a lot of things that you don't understand. And you buying a weekend course or a one-off ebook is why you're not making money, because you need help putting everything in place. So if I were you, if you can, you should really try and get into Kingdom Essentials, especially because I made it so low. So it's only $997 for the whole entire year. Okay. So yeah, go look in my bio. You'll see a button. It says Juneteenth deals. Tap the Juneteenth deals. You'll see Kingdom Essentials, and you'll see the option for Kingdom Essentials, and you'll also see the affordable workshops. Okay, because you need to make money, and you need to be making money quickly. Speaking of making money quickly, inflation is up. Who's surprised? Oh my God, we're so shocked. Inflation is up. Okay. And I do think, if I'm being honest, in my professional opinion, we're probably going to see 5.5% to 6% inflation by the time we get to the end of the year. Also, they have been very sneaky about this, but the Fed, the Federal Reserve, they have gotten a couple of people that authored Project 2025. They actually are in key positions at this point in time. Hey, Franklin, what's going on? Thank you for my heartbeat. Thank you, love. So this is a whole problem, okay? And then I know everyone has seen the tape by now of Big Orange talking about how he loves inflation. Now, y'all know he ran in the campaign of he's going to stop inflation day one, yada, yada, yada. Y'all remember all the red hats came over here trying to argue with me and fuss with me when I was like, inflation is going to go up because this tariff plan is really, really stupid. Then on top of the tariffs, we now have the war with Iran. And speaking of the war with Iran, let's talk about Iran, and let's talk about this deal. Hold on, y'all. Let me change out the map. Thank you for my mark of love, Franklin. Y'all give me a second. Let's change the map. Let's put up the map. We need the map. Because I need y'all to understand what is going on. Because honestly, Iran is about to emerge as a geopolitical superpower. No cap. Y'all work the comments. I'm tired of getting banned. I'm tired of getting banned. Oh my gosh, they won't leave me alone, baby. They gonna ban me if they don't do nothing else. Okay, they said we gonna get yo yapping behind up out of here. They said I got too much sense. I'm too smart. I'm putting the people on. Baby, we gotta be on. Okay, y'all give me a second over here on YouTube. Let me get us a map. We need a map. Y'all, I am not crapping y'all. I promise y'all, a violation just popped up on my page. It says your live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. They just hit me for body exposure and sexualized behaviors. This is what they banned me for before. Clearly, we can see that I'm not doing anything sexual. Clearly, everybody can see my body is not exposed. You can only see you can't even see I'm like, what, clavicle bone up? Like, child, hold on, y'all. Let me submit feedback real quick. No, I do not understand the decision. My live does not contain this content. Y'all work the comments. Okay, work the comments. Everybody, I put your favorite color in. Put what you had for lunch. Put what you're having for dinner. Put if it's raining or not. Okay, put in your favorite anime character. I don't care. Okay, just put stuff in the comments and keep the comments rolling while we're talking. I also need everybody in here to share. Everybody, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, everybody's watching me everywhere. Share. Y'all see my numbers are already low because I told y'all they banned me and they suppressed me. So literally, we're out here talking about current events. I haven't said anything out of control. I clearly haven't shown anything. What do y'all see right now? We see a necklace. We see a face. Okay, we see some hair. And this is the thing, y'all want to know what grinds my gears? I'm not going to spend too long on this because we finna talk about this deal, okay, with Iran, this supposed deal and what's going on, because I need y'all to understand why the inflation is so high. I need y'all to understand why your dollars are buying less. And more importantly, I need y'all to understand what to do about it so you can be in a better position. Okay. That's what I need for y'all to understand. That's what I need for y'all to take from this. But this is what grinds my gears about this. If I was up here talking about some toxic stuff that was ruining our community, if I was up here, if I had a background up and I was like, black men are trash, oh, they would have pushed 600 or 700 people to my stream by now. Okay. If I had a talking point, if I had a topic talking about women that go 50-50 or clowns, okay. If I was participating in the gender war conversations, if I was up here talking about how all black men are trash or ain't crap, I wouldn't be getting any violations. I wouldn't have any restrictions. They wouldn't be taking down my account. But because I get on here and I talk about the economy and I talk about geopolitical issues, and I talk about specifically how they're impacting you as an American citizen and what's going on, I constantly am being slammed with these crazy violations and these crazy restrictions, and they can't get me for anything else because I started curtailing my language once I understood that they were getting me for saying specific words, right? So y'all know that's why we talk in the code. So now they're coming out talking about nudity and sexual behavior when clearly I'm not doing anything sexual. Clearly, I'm not nude. Clearly, I have on clothes. I'm always fully clothed. I don't put up thirst traps. And this is the thing. There are people that are actually on their lives showing booty cheeks. There are people on the live busting it wide open right now. There have been people in these live streams actually, fornicating, performing fellatio and all kinds of stuff, and they don't get banned. They don't get any restrictions. So I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just a bit frustrated. I'm sure you guys can understand the frustration. Okay. I just sit over here on my little corner of the internet and I try and help people make money, and I try and help my people be aware of what's going on. It's out of control. Out of control. You cannot see anything. I purposely have the camera up so you can't see anything because they keep slamming me for these nudity and sexual behavior violations. And literally, y'all see that we were fine. There were no violations until what I do. I put up the map and I say, okay, let's talk about Iran and let's talk about this deal. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting violations left and right and left. Out of control. So y'all are doing a good job working the comments, okay? Keep working the comments, all right? Everybody share with at least one other person that's a small business owner, a side hustler, or just a hardworking person in America that wants to know what is going on. That's right. God is amazing. God is amazing, and God gave me y'all, and I appreciate y'all for having my back, because y'all know the past few weeks I have been under multiple attacks, okay? Even people coming forward trying to attack my reputation, lying on me as a business person. It's just one thing after another. It's out of control, but I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to keep yapping, okay? I will not shut up unless the big God tells me to shut up. But right now, I'm being obedient and I'm doing what I've been told, which is to put this information out here and to help our community, okay? Now, while you guys are sharing, let's do a little commercial, okay? Everybody say commercial. Let's have a little commercial. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ashley Ann. I'm actually the top social media strategist in the country in real life, okay? I've been featured in all kinds of publications in real life. I actually do have my degrees in real life. I graduated with a degree in finance, cum laude, as a matter of fact. I also have a master's and I have a doctoral. I'm a TEDx speaker. I received 2 Presidential Lifetime Achievement awards before the age of 40. I've never had to suck or buck to do anything. I built 5 multi-million-dollar companies. I've helped over 900 people make money with their social media accounts. If you're in here and if I've helped you make money, drop the dollar signs, the credit card emojis, the euro, the yen, the dinero, whatever makes you feel good down in your sha-na-na. On my regular FYP, on my timeline, okay, you will see news updates. You'll also see me doing house videos. You'll see me doing hostess videos because your girl loves to party. You will see me doing lots of cooking videos because I love to cook. And you'll see me yapping on occasion. Most of the time I reserve the yapping for TikTok though, okay? That's what you'll see if you follow me. And I would really appreciate if you engage with all of my content. All you have to do is watch it and leave a little comment so that way I can get the coins, okay? I can keep getting the money on. Wouldn't y'all rather the apps pay me instead of you pay me? And if you really fool with me and you want to learn how to make money, you want to learn how to sell your own products and services, you want to learn how to make money as an affiliate, you want to learn how to make money off of your personality, because that's what I helped all my other clients do, then come to one of my workshops. All you gotta do is go click the link in the bio. There's a button that says Juneteenth deals. They're affordable workshops. The workshop's only $47. Okay, blink, blink, blink. I ain't trying to break nobody's bank account out here. If you want to come into Kingdom Essentials and you want to work with me for months, you want to work with me for a whole year, it's only $997 for the whole entire year. Okay. Yeah, you ain't got to pay $4,000. You ain't got to pay $5,000, baby. $997 get you a year of training, so you can start making $5,000 to $10,000 a month. All right, that's what I do out here in these streets. Welcome to the kingdom. And some of you guys know me from the event world because my first company is an event design and production company, and that is how I made my first $1 million. I've been making M since I've been 27 years old. Blink, blink, blink. 40 now. Getting to it. All right. So I know about navigating a soft economy. When I came out of college, we were in the big housing crisis, the big economic boom. You remember the big bubble that burst? And they were like, you shouldn't start a business. I started my business with $125 in a laptop and built that thing into a multi-million-dollar company. And I'm very proud that I'm I'm in the 3% of Black business owners in the United States that makes it to build $1 million company. And I got a team and I got a payroll. Okay. I cut checks to other people every month. Get into it, motherfuckers. Get into it. Shit. I got to talk my ish out here in these streets. I gotta talk my ish out here in these streets, god dang it. Worked hard for my resume. It's real. It's real. God dang it. Okay. And shout out to all the girls throwing booty cheeks to make $1. But if you don't want to do that no more, come over here. Okay. Your big cuz got your back. I have lots of ladies that used to work in the nightlife. I have some ladies that even used to sell it, and they'll tell you they love me real bad. Okay. They don't play about me because I showed them how to make money and they were able to get out of their lifestyle and take care of themselves. Right. Another violation. I don't care if digital products, babe. God dang it. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of that ish. Anyway, so let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about what's going on with Iran, all right? So I want to talk about this deal because Big Orange says that he loves inflation. I'm not making that up. I did post it with the video clip so y'all could see it, okay? I posted it with the video clip so you can see it. Now, where's my cheat sheet with the notes of the deal? Because this is why I'm not turning backflips. I'll be honest, y'all. I'll be really shocked if they sign this deal to make a deal. And the reason I'm telling you I'm going to be shocked if they sign this deal to make a deal, because Iran put the parameters of the deal out into the media, and then the White House immediately came out like within 30 minutes of Iran putting out the parameters of the deal and saying, no, that's not true. We, only agreed to these 5 factors. And I'm going to tell you why I think that Iran is telling the truth, because Iran has been very solid about these 13 points, and they have not gotten off of them since the beginning of the war. They have not changed. Now, we have changed. And I believe the total count is there. This is the 38th time that Big Orange has said we have a deal and the deal is almost done and nothing comes of it. Okay. Because remember, Big Orange keeps blue these people. Also, someone remind me to tell y'all about this. Remind me, because we talked about this, but we ain't talked about this in a while. About a month ago, I told y'all that Big Orange had activated the 82nd, activated, I think, the 5th, and there was another special forces fleet that he activated, and he has sent thousands. We have tens of thousands of American troops over there right now. Okay, they're in Is Not Real. They have been training and they've been preparing in Is Not Real. Why have they been training and preparing in Is Not Real? They've been training and preparing in Is Not Real because he wants to have them in position to be able to take over Karg Island. So we're gonna circle back around to that. Okay. Okay, we're gonna circle back around to that, class. You said it's the straight open or closed? It's closed, baby. Didn't you see India crying this morning? Thank you for my mark of love. You see India crying this morning, baby. India was all over the world news crying this morning because Iran went pop, 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 pop. So Big Orange was like, oh, the strait is open. You can go through, blah, 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 blah. And remember I told y'all India is a fence straddler. So India is in BRICS, but India is always up underneath the nuts of America. They've been straddling the fence for a long time. This come a lot of times when we're getting into these conversations and these relations, you know, you don't hear me mentioning them a lot. They're fence straddlers, okay? And so India was like, told Iran, if you don't let our tankers through, if you don't let our ships through, we gonna call America on you. Iran said, I don't give a call who you want to call. You think we scared of America? Come through here. You think you bad? You think you bad? Come through here. You think you bad? We said the strait is closed. We don't care what America talking about. And India was like, America said, I can go through the strait. So India, here they go. And Iran said, booyaka, 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 booyaka. And then India got on TV crying this morning. Okay, I put up the video. Y'all didn't see the video yesterday where they were like airlifting their sailors out because Iran blew the face off of them tankers. Yeah, baby, the strait is closed. Yeah. One driver, baby, they're straight closed, okay, baby. They said they dropped drones all over them tankers. Bow, 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 bow. Yes, they did. It's closed. It's closed, okay. Now, for illustration purposes, dang it, I can't touch the map. I can't touch it for you on YouTube. Okay, so first of all, because I made sure I gave y'all the same maps today. Does everyone see where Saudi Arabia is on the screen? Okay. Everybody see where Saudi Arabia is on the screen? I can kind of point a little bit on TikTok. YouTube, I can't for y'all. It's like you see like the orangey looking mass on the screen, the big mass, that's Saudi Arabia. Okay. Now, while you're looking at the screen, I want you to look to the right of Saudi Arabia. Okay, to the right of Saudi Arabia, we're gonna go to the right. And we're going to go down to the south a little bit, okay? To the right and to the lower. That green piece on the boot, that's Oman, okay? Oman is neutral. Oman has built its money and has built its wealth on being a negotiator. So Oman is normally like, I'm in it, I'm not in it, okay? This is where things started getting really, really, really shaky, like earlier this week, because Big Orange came out and threatened Oman out of nowhere. And Oman was like, what we got to do with this? We ain't on nobody's side. Oman is basically like Switzerland. They're negotiators. That's literally what they are. They are a country of negotiators. Okay. So now I want y'all to look right above Oman. Y'all see the yellow slip? Hold on. Let me make myself small on YouTube. Let me make myself small on YouTube and Facebook so y'all can see the map larger. Boom. Okay. Hold on. Let me unpin this. Bam. There we go. Okay. So y'all can see Oman. Everybody sees Oman, right? The green boot. Now, right above Oman, it's touching Oman and Saudi Arabia. Y'all see a little yellow area? Y'all see the yellow area? That's the UAE, okay? The United Arab Emirates. That's what that is. So you see people talking about the UAE. I'm just trying to help y'all get a position, get a picture, so y'all can understand where all these countries are when you're hearing people talking about this. Okay, so boom, that's where the UAE is. And remember, okay, Iran has been the crap out of the UAE. How is this possible? Does everyone see the big purple mass on the map? The big purple mass, that's Iran. Okay, so Iran can literally reach out and touch them. Iran can get to everybody. Iran can get to Oman. Iran can get to the UAE. Iran can get to Qatar. Okay, Iran can get to Saudi Arabia. Iran can get to everybody. Okay, Iran can get to Pakistan because Pakistan is directly to the right of Iran. The orange colored mass, that's Pakistan. Okay, there's right down. There's right down now. Okay, baby, reach out and touch. Reach out and give me a cup of sugar. Iran can get to everybody. Iran can get to everybody, okay? Now, I want y'all to look. Y'all see it's like a little teeny tiny peninsula off of Saudi Arabia, okay? And it's like a yellow orangey color. Y'all see that? Does everybody see? It's a little teeny. If you look up from the UAE, okay, go up the coast of Saudi Arabia, you're going to see a little peninsula. Everybody see the little peninsula? Everybody see that? That's Qatar, okay? That's Qatar. All of these places that I'm pointing out is where America has the bases at. So when I talk to y'all about these 5 bases that Iran has bombed the crap out of yesterday and earlier this morning, I want you guys to see, okay? So Iran has a very significant advantage. That's Qatar, okay? Keep going up the coast of Saudi Arabia. You're going to see another little yellow bloop, okay? Y'all see the pink? The pink is Iraq, and in between is touching Iraq and Saudi Arabia. There's a little yellow. There's a little piece of yellow land right there. Everybody see that? That's Kuwait. So there's only the water channel that's separating Iran from Kuwait, from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from UAE, and from Oman. Okay. Now I want y'all to go back down the map and look back at the UAE. Okay. And at the UAE, there's like a little point, right? There's a little point going into the water. Oman and the UAE, they're making a little point right there. Okay. That little apex, okay, that in the water, y'all see how the water kind of goes up, like it makes like a little V. That is the Strait of Hormuz. So that's where all of this issue is going down at, okay? That's what they're fighting over. So when you see it, now you can see how it's really easy for Iran to control who comes in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. Does that make sense to everybody now that you can actually see it? Okay, so when America and Big Orange is talking all this ish about what they gonna do and what they not gonna do, nah, baby, they got us by the balls. Okay, and not just us, the whole world. Okay, now let's go and look at Saudi Arabia again. I want you to look down and to the left. This is Yemen. Everybody see the lighter green color at the bottom of Saudi Arabia? Everybody see that? Everybody see that? Okay, that's Yemen. Okay, y'all know who lives in Yemen? That's where your daddy's ghetto cousins live. Okay, when I talk about the Houthis, and we know that the Houthis don't play, the Houthis, let me tell y'all this, okay? Even before all of this started between America and Israel and Iran, the Houthis been cutting up, okay? The Houthis have taken on a lot of people, or let me say a lot of people have tried to take on the Houthis and they effed around and they found out. The Houthis don't care. They like to fight. That's why I always describe them as like your ratchet cousins on your daddy side. Everybody know we got some cousins on our daddy side that really ain't wrapped too tight, and all the stuff that you're not supposed to like to do, they like to do it for fun. It's just a way of life. It don't stress them out, okay? Drama, fighting, stabbing, killing, AKing people down. This is a way of life. This is normal to them. Okay, the way we get up and we go to the gym, or we get up and we go on a walk and stuff, how that's normal to us. For them, baby, this is the way of life. Okay, this is what they do. Okay, for they wish would all day, every day. You understand? So Iran was like holding them back until a couple days ago. And Iran said, hey, they picked up the phone and said, cuz. Yemen said, what's up? The Houthi says, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? They said, hey, I need you to run down. Okay, get out here, hold it down, POP, barricade the fort, shut down the Bab el-Mandab Strait. Okay, so when we're looking at Saudi Arabia, okay, the purple mass is kind of up at the top. That's Egypt. Okay, I think a lot of times Americans are they're not like familiar with the maps, and they don't understand geographically where things are located. And you also have a lot of people in America that don't travel outside of America because America, like, let's be real, America is huge compared to a lot of other countries. We're humongous. And so you can spend a lifetime just traveling state to state in America. Okay. So there's not always necessarily a reason for people in America to leave. Okay. And go out. Oh, speaking of leaving, remember we talking about news that I just need to catch y'all up on since the first time in history, since the Great Depression, you have more Americans leaving the country than people coming in. But put that in your pocket. We're going to talk about that later because that, again, wraps back into the economy, okay? Now, so Egypt is the purple mass, okay? The light purple. It's like lavender, okay? We're going to call Iran purple. We'll call Egypt lavender. That's Egypt. Egypt is a part of Africa, okay? This is also, if you look up in that little bridge between Saudi Arabia and Egypt, you'll see like where Israel is located. So a lot of the Israelis, when they're escaping by foot, they're trying to run into Egypt. Okay? Now, underneath the lavender Egypt is Sudan. Okay? Sudan, the big kind of like light yellow greenish color that's underneath the lavender, that's Sudan. Okay, that's Sudan. And then there's like a darker green that's smaller, that's right on the water, that's Ethiopia. Okay, now everybody see the channel of water that's running along the coast of Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia, in Yemen and Saudi Arabia. Everybody see the channel of water that's running in between Yemen and Africa, basically, these different countries in Africa. Y'all see that? Up in there is the Bab el-Mandab Strait. Okay, up in there is when we get into the Red Sea. Now you see where Yemen is. This is why the Houthis can run that ish over there. And the Houthis don't play. Okay, the Houthis got AKs. People think the Houthis out there with like sticks. You know what I'm saying? They think that the Houthis, people think that the Houthis over there were like cannonballs or something. No, baby, the Houthis got drones. The Houthis got AKs. The Houthis got everything. Okay, they got all of the machinery, and okay, they got all of it. Yes, oh no is right. Okay, now on top of this, y'all can't see it on this map. But if we go back to where Iran is, and you see Pakistan and you see Afghanistan, okay? If you keep going to the right, you're going to run into Big Cha to the okay? Now, last year, like nobody was reporting on this except for me. And I was like, y'all, this is a problem. I was like, America is losing control in the Middle East. And do y'all remember that man that came in? It was a white man. And he was like, you don't know what you're talking about. And you're fear mongering. And remember I was telling y'all about BRICS and stuff. And I was like, hey, China and Iran are building a railway to connect to one another. I'm pretty sure they're working with each other. Y'all remember I was telling y'all that? And that white man came in here, argued me down, and then he sent all his little people to come and troll me and report my page and stuff like that. So turns out your big cuz Ashley Ann was right. Who was right? Me. I was right. Y'all should know this by now, okay? First of all, I'm a Taurus, okay? We don't speak on stuff we don't know about. At least high vibrational Tauruses, we don't. If I'm opening my mouth and I'm speaking about it, I promise you, I know a lot about it, okay? So I was like, this is going to be a problem for America because they are building infrastructure and they're building a network to where we're going to be kicked out. And I told y'all this. And I was like, even in the water, they're not really going to have too much footing and control because that railway is going to be open. So they opened the railway towards like the early fall of last year. Okay. So they can get things from Iran to China within 72 hours. Guess who's been giving Iran a lot of weapons and a lot of intel and a lot of technology? Big Cha to the So literally, exactly one driver. They don't have to use the strait because they have a railway. And Afghanistan and Pakistan don't really care for America too much anyway. So they have no objection to the railway being built through their countryside. Okay? So they're all working together. So even though America is like, we have the naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz and we can see who's coming and going, no, you can't because they're using the railway that's on the backside. God dang it. God blame it. Okay. So when Big Orange and Petey Weedy and them was like, hey, we're going to put a blockade against their blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, okay? And it's going to crumble. They were thinking it was going to crumble the Iran's economy. They were thinking it was going to crumble the Iranian people because they weren't going to be able to get things in and out. Iran, in fact, can still get everything in and out because of this railway that goes to Cha to the So then CENTCOM, and y'all know CENTCOM like to lie, and CENTCOM likes to put out information that's only favorable for America. Even CENTCOM in the Pentagon had to break down and say that with the position that Iran is in right now, for a minimum, they said a minimum of at least 4 months, Iran can still survive fine, and we're not having the economical impact on Iran that we thought that we would have putting the blockade there. Okay. So literally, like I said, Iran got us by the balls, y'all. Okay. And they're not trying to go in and fight us hand to hand, soldier to soldier, drone to drone, missile to missile, bomb to bomb. They're not crazy enough to do that. They understand that they can collapse us economically, and they also can collapse other economies in the world. Because y'all got to remember, if you expand this map out, hold on, let me see. I think I got another map, y'all. Hold on, let me see. Hold on. Boop. Dang, it's too big. It's too big on this. Let me see if I can. Oh, it's not showing what I want to show. I wanted to show y'all another map that expands out so you can see where Europe is located in juxtaposition to all of these countries, because it's really hurting the economies in Europe because they're much closer, okay, to these countries over in this part of the world. All right. And so literally, as far when it comes to like energy, when it comes to food, when it comes to medicine, when it comes to their fertilizers, all of those sorts of types of things, everything is bogged up right now because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And now that the Houthis have shut down the Bab el-Mandab Strait, which y'all can see is directly on the other side of the Strait of Hormuz, that shut down another 30% of the world's container training. So anything that comes in containers that gets traded, it's all shut down now because it can't get through the Bab el-Mandab Strait. So we got a big problem on our hands. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying that this is what they're going to do. Blink, blink, blink. I'm just saying if it was me and I was in Iran, what motivation do I have to open up the Strait of Hormuz before November or December, and we have elections in America, what motivation do I have to open it besides you surrendering and giving me what I want? What's the motivation? What's the reason? It's not. It's not. There's nothing that we can do. Okay. And then Big Orange was like, we're gonna take over Karg Island. Okay. That's a major oil hub for Iran. So this is the thing. Iran is like, we playing chess. We're not playing checkers. We already figured you probably be over here knocking on the door, trying to scare us. So they went and they reinforced everything around Karg Island. They reinforced the moms. They added additional soldiers. And y'all forgot in Iran, they have a pact. Iran has over 14 million citizens right now, including the president that said we'll die about ours. I'm not lying. They have literally pledged their lives. You can talk to the men and the women. They be out in the streets, y'all, every night partying. They having block parties every night with music, prayer, dancing, flags waving, saying we're waiting. They said Allah is guiding us. And if that means I got to up out of here to make sure that our way of life stands, to make sure that our civilization is still here, so be it. So not only do they have the military, they also have the military of multiple countries in Asia that are saying we will come and reinforce and back you up against America as well. Now you have the citizens that are willing to do whatever they got to do. Okay. And they have these little, we're going to call them Uzi boats. There's a word. Y'all know when we were younger, you used to get a bunch of drinks, a bunch of fountain drinks, a bunch of different flavors, and you would mix all the flavors together. What did you call that when we were younger? What did you call that drink when you got a bunch of those different flavors and mixed them all together? Okay. They have those types of boats. No, baby, not a float. A float got ice cream. This ain't got no ice cream. There we go, Miss Rain. There we go, Miss Rain Ray. There we go. Miss Rain Ray got it right. Yes, that. So literally, they have these little boats. And these boats are all like loaded up, okay, with all of the drones, with all of the blues and all of that, okay? So literally, what are you going to do against these little speed boats that are coming at your big tankers or your big boats, okay? And the people don't care. They already know if they get on that boat, they already know what it is. Y'all have to understand again. So when we talk about this deal that Iran has put together with America, and then America comes out and says we're not agreeing to those 13 things, we are only agreeing to these 5 things that are in favor of us for America. Of course, Iran is going to say then no deal. Because again, what motivation do they have to do a deal? And keep in mind, Iran is still trading with Pakistan. They're still trading with Afghanistan. They're still trading with Big Cha to the and they're also still trading with Big Rush to the So y'all can't see it on this map, but Big Rush to the is a big, huge landmass that goes across the top of all of it. Okay. And I told y'all, allegedly, my suspicion, and I'm pretty sure my suspicion ain't wrong, they'd already went and made secret deals with Spain, that they have made secret deals with France. I believe they have made secret deals with Qatar too, because you notice in the past 5 days when all of the blow up station has been happening, all of the blue has been happening, they ain't been touching Qatar. But Qatar also shut down their oil refineries as a move of, I'm not going to say solidarity, but I would say neutrality. I believe that they made a deal and said, hey, if we stop producing oil, if we just stop producing the oil, okay, will y'all stop blue our infrastructure? I do think that we need to prep. I don't think that we will be invaded in the way that you're going to see thousands of foot soldiers like on the ground here. I do believe though that there will be a catastrophic event that happens in America. I do think that. Yes, I do. I do think that. Um, But I don't, but like, as far as like you looking out the door and seeing, a bunch of soldiers from another country on foot here, I don't think it'll be like that. I do think that you should be prepping and stocking because there are going to be shortages. Okay. And Shishi already let Big Orange know exactly where he stands, and he said he ain't got no problem getting physical. For sure, for sure. Exactly. One driver is correct. What one driver said. what one driver said, okay? And y'all know it's a lot of mischief going on down there in Jamaica, dealing with Cuba and all of that too right now. But that's another story. We ain't gonna get into that. I have to figure out how I can present that to y'all and keep the page up. Because what I'm figuring out, if there are not enough outlets reporting about said thing and I say something about it, they will, then that's when they hit me with like the misinformation violations. So I normally have to wait until someone else is putting it up or reporting it like a traditional or legacy media source, and then I can get on here and talk to y'all about it. Um, so okay, so let's talk about the terms of this deal. Okay, so I did go over and I watched some press conferences in Iran, and Aragachi did say that they're in communication. So y'all know a couple of days ago, well, yesterday too, whenever Big Orange was like, "Oh, we're talking, to Iran," and Iran was like, "Baby, we ain't talking to them. We don't know who that man talking to." And It's Not Real had to come out, was like, "I have no idea who he's talking to. There hasn't been any deals struck up." Okay, that was not going on. All right, but as of this morning, Aragachi did say, "Okay, we did present some things to America." Okay. And so what Iran did, which basically, if I'm keeping it a buck, Iran is trying to sun America right now. Iran is trying to sun America right now, like no cap. So this is one of the reasons that Iran keeps going to the media to say like these are the details, because they want it to be out in public, because they basically want the world to know that they brought America to its knees. And America had to give them what they wanted. So that's why they are very open about the details of this plan. And this is why then Vance Pants and Big Orange will come back out and say, "Oh, no, that's not true. That's not what we agreed to." Okay. So, and this is not all of the points, but these are the major highlights of the deal that Iran is saying that they have to enter into. And first of all, this is a deal to make a deal. This is a deal. This is a deal to make a deal. It's not even a firm deal, y'all. All of this, like Iran wants all of this stuff to happen in order to even go into negotiations for 60 days. So just keep that in mind. This is a deal to make a deal, okay? So they want a permanent and immediate ceasefire when it comes to them and when it comes to Lebanon. They said from America and American allies. So that means that bet not, okay, is not real, bet not fire off nothing on Lebanon or us. Saudi bet not, the UAE bet not, Oman bet not, Kuwait bet not, Qatar bet not, Pakistan or India, anybody that's considered American ally, okay, if they say you're ally America and you fire off on us or Lebanon, it's up, all bets are off. They said this needs to be permanent and immediate. Okay, now good luck with America controlling It's Not Real. That's why I say I don't have a lot of hope for this weekend, because we all know that It's Not Real has continued to attack Lebanon. We all know that It's Not Real has come forward. They have come forward out of their mouth and they have said, whatever deal they made with America, that's the deal what they made with America. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Okay. So Big Orange does not have control over Netty Net. Okay. So just based on that first parameter, as far as a deal to make a deal, I am not confident because Big Orange does not have control over NetiNet. Okay, it just is what it is. So that we on thin ice already. Okay. The next thing they said they want that $300 billion in restitution. They said they want reparations. They said, pay me, BITCHES. That's what they said. They said they want reparations. Okay. They want 300 billion in reparations. And not only do they want 300 billion in reparations, they want a laid out, established program to rebuild Iran's economy. That's what they had said. And they said before they will even sign anything, that America needs to. So apparently, America has $24 million in frozen Iranian assets that they have frozen. Okay. Iran said you need to unfreeze the 24 million, and we need 12 million of it upfront before we even sign this agreement to negotiate with y'all. They said that's your good faith money. Okay. We need the 12 million in good faith. Now, y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, I told y'all that Big Orange was working with Qatar and with Kuwait and trying to get them to make a fund, okay? And that fund is how Iran would get paid. Because America basically is like, okay, we're going to pay them, but we don't want the public or the world to know that we're paying you. So instead, they were going to be like, oh, we're working with Kuwait and Qatar on these particular projects, right? And America would put the money there, and then Kuwait and Qatar would funnel the money to Iran. Iran said, I really don't care how I get to 300 billion. I need to get to 300 billion. But I just want to let y'all know, like, they not doing nothing without this 300 billion. And they said we need 12 million up front before we even sign anything. Okay. You said you ticked off at that statement. Hey, I'm just telling you what's going on. Okay. You should be. If I'm being honest, every American should be ticked off. If more Americans understood what was going on, I believe that this current regime that we have in office right now wouldn't even be there right now. Okay. Now they also want America to withdraw their troops in the area. So when we're looking at the map, America has bases in all those countries that I just walked y'all through. When we, Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, Saudi Arabia, we have bases all over the place there, all over the place. Yeah. Iran said, move your men. Move your men, move your women, get them up out of here. Okay. They also said we only have 60 days to do this negotiation. So if it falls apart, then at our discretion, if we want the war to be back on, it can be on. Okay. You said I have a former client in Jordan. I reached out to him, checking on him, and he's on a U.S. base. Yes, a lot of baby. They tore Jordan up the other day. Baby, I watched them. Boom, boom, boom. And Jordan was only able to intercept one of the 3 ballistic that they sent to Jordan. Okay, let's see. Next. They want all of the U.S. sanctions, first tier and second tier, removed immediately. They want all of the sanctions removed immediately, which if they have the sanctions removed immediately, that is going to give Iran a huge leg up when it comes to being an economical power in the world. I'm talking about overnight, okay? Because right now they have Iran sanctioned very heavily. So technically, other countries don't want to purchase any oil from them or do any trade from them, except for China to the and Russia to the because they like we do what we want, right? Because they're all a part of BRICS. Okay. Let's see. The other thing is, they said the naval blockade has got to go immediately. And then they said if those things happen, that they will immediately open up the Strait of Hormuz, at least for 30 days. So literally, these are the lists, these are the points like that Iran says we have to have in order to even just negotiate with you. I truly believe this will be our last for the 3 to 6 more months. Yeah, I do too, Jewel. This is gonna be our reality for a minute. Okay. Now the next thing next, then America comes out and they have Vance Pants come out and say, like, yeah, this isn't true, but he didn't say it wasn't fully true. Like, you got to watch Vance Pants because he'd already sat up on camera and told everybody he has no problem lying, and he will absolutely lie to get his way and whatever message he wants put out there. He said that in an interview with his chest. He said that. Okay. Um, Also, he said that basically he was like, we're not giving them any cash, but then Vance Pants did speak about funds. You see what I'm saying? I said you gotta watch the words. They get real squirrely with the semantics. Okay. So like, oh, we're not giving you any cash, but there's negotiations and conversations about funds. Remember, and I just told y'all that one of the things they want is that 12 million like upfront. You see what I'm saying? They really not playing with us at all. The fallout from this is going to last at least a decade, Jennifer. Real talk. It's going to last at least a decade. Okay. Yes, notes of music. That's Peter T's. That's Peter Cottontail's boy. Okay. That's how he in that position. So this is where we are right now. Okay. This is where we at right now. So even though Eric Gachi said, like, yeah, we actually are conversing with Big Orange this time, he's telling the truth this time, we are speaking with him. Now you have both of the countries being at odds about what the deal or what the terms are of the deal. Okay. And because one of the things that Iran is very stern on is that, you know, Iran is very stern on this idea that you can no longer attack us or Lebanon, like you or your allies cannot. This is where, even if America agrees, let's say America agrees to everything else that's on this list, they're going to have a hard time controlling their allies. And it's not all their allies, because let me be clear, the Gulf states want this to end. They want this to stop. It's messing up their tourism. It's messing up their oil money. You know what I'm saying? The checks is not clearing the way that they used to clear. They are over it. They want this to be done with, okay? It's is not real who has no chill, okay? Is not real wants to do whatever is not real wants to do. And so there and lies the problem. And it's not real, may not Iran, but they have no problem continuing to Lebanon. Yeah, it's always very interesting to me how people think that they're people of God and they operate, in these distasteful, disdainful manners. Okay. So boom, that's your update. And that's why the economy is looking That's why your inflation is inflated to where it's at. Okay. So if anybody got questions, anybody want to come up and give some commentary or a few words, let me open up the panel. Y'all more than welcome to hop up, you know what I'm saying, and do that. You more than welcome. Y'all know I love hearing from y'all. But if y'all got any questions, if it's anything you don't understand, pop up as well. All right. Boom. I just put the links in the chat for Facebook and YouTube if y'all want to see them. And if anybody, wants to come to one of my affordable workshops because you need to make more money, go click the link in my bio. There's a button that says Juneteenth deals. It'll get you right where you need to go. Hey, Daily Life Home Finds. Hey, Notes and Music.
How you doing, Miss Lady?
Good. How are you?
I always crack up at the news because I just get a mouthful. It's hilarious.
Thank you very much.
But also it's extremely informative.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I was gonna say, why doesn't Africa get these kind of balls?
So you got a couple of things going on the continent as a whole. They're just not unified. You have a lot of interference from America, a lot of interference from France, a lot of interference from Germany. that, with different portions, with different countries on the continent. Some of them are neighboring countries next to next as far as like geopolitical positioning. And then you have a really strong influence from Chad to the that's all inside of multiple countries in Africa right now, with the infrastructure, the roads, the railways, honestly putting down territory like on the people, or I would say like the labor sources. So because you have so many different countries that are interfering with different countries on the continent of Africa, is why like basically they don't have a unified front. It's a long story long.
Yeah, and it's frustrating and extremely confusing to me, because you have resources literally to, I would say, to maintain your own, but I find, why does our native country need so much aid when literally you're a gold mine by yourself? I don't get that.
But you have to think about the corruption, and you have to think about the infrastructure or the lack of infrastructure that's being built there. And again, even though Africa is a huge continent and it's a huge resource well, you have multiple countries on the continent of Africa. So for instance, when you look at North America, we just have 3 big countries here, right? You have Canada, you have Mexico, and you got, we got more than 3 countries. We have more than 3 countries. Hold on. You guys, let's go. You got, we'll say South America, because you got like Brazil and South America, right? You got Guatemala. So, but ultimately, we don't have, right? Like Canada takes up a huge mass, America takes up a huge mass, Mexico takes up a huge mass. Like even when we get to South America on its own, exactly, you got like 53 countries in Africa, and they have all taken alignment with different countries. Then you have, they were colonized by like Britain, right? Then you have America coming over here, meddling, destabilizing people's governments. You have China to the and Russia to the over there, destabilizing governments and making different deals with different people. So, like for instance, I know Ibrahim. One of the reasons everybody loves him is because he really seems to be no nonsense. France has tried to put a hit on that man 55 times. He's right. He's unifying inside of the area that he's in. And keep in mind, that's not the whole continent. That's just the countries that are neighboring and that he's with. And he's such a big threat. The country of France has tried to that man 55 times.
And I don't, you would think by now, as far as like the corruption part, that would be straight, because they're looking out for their people, and you literally have means to recycle and do your own thing as a country. So I've been researching and kind of go back to
but how would you be expecting the corruption to be straight there? Look at all the corruption that's here in America. Look at all the corruption that's in Europe. Look at all the corruption across the world. Look at how many world leaders were participating in trafficking young women and girls and children. You see what I'm saying? Like when we start look at what happened in Albania, and the people had to raise up, and they went and set a lot of the parliaments, set their homes on fire, and the prime ministers, and they were like, okay, we're not going to allow Ivanka and her husband to come in here with this project. So when we start talking about like corruption, there's corruption in multiple governments. And so I think, well, for me, when a lot of Americans talk about the continent of Africa, they speak about the continent of Africa as if it's not different independent countries on the continent.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't know. It's a lot going on.
It is.
So much.
It is. Hey, Indy, what's going on, girl?
Thank you, love.
Oh, you're welcome.
I had a question, but just to piggyback off of the conversation about Africa, my husband's aunt was married to the brother of the president of Ghana. Mm-hmm. And a lot of corruption happened there, and it's blatant as it relates. So just say somebody offers $100 million to repair road work. They'll take the money, they'll take the payment and really disperse it amongst their family, their friends, their kids. very, blatant as it relates to our corruption is a little less so obvious as it is.
Is it?
To me, it is. Like
to me, it's not.
At least they do a little something here or there. They will get into office and literally almost every dime will not go towards anything that the money is allocated for. Like nothing changes at all.
I mean, have you been looking at this current administration and all the money going into their pockets in Big Orange? Like for instance, that whole move with Venezuela, and he's putting the price on oil and he's selling the oil and it's going into a fund that he has control over, and it's not here in America. Like, I mean, I don't know if I can say that the amount of congressmen and congresswomen that go in, regular citizens with regular earning, and they come out and they're multi-millionaires. And I'm not talking about I'm a little millionaire. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about these people coming out hundreds of millions. You know what I'm saying? Close to billions, moving into the trillions. When I look at right now, even everything they got going on with the data centers, for example, and how you have so many citizens coming out saying, I don't want this center here. I don't want it in my state. I don't want it in my neighborhood. I don't want it ruining the environment, the air quality, all of this for people. And look at all of the local government officials. They're like, well, okay, we had this meeting and we heard y'all, and we know 90% of the town, 90% of the city is against it, but we're going to put it up anyway because I got to get this kickback that goes into my pocket.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like it's the same level of corruption everywhere. Look at Jared Kushner right now. That man is not a government official. He literally has no position in office in America, and he's floating across between, going to Rush to the going to Chad to the on a regular basis, negotiating what? You're not a government official. You're not a cabinet member. You're not a member of Congress. Literally, because my father-in-law is the president.
Oh, that's crazy. My question is this. Okay, and this may sound a little crazy, but even before this administration, I've always wanted to get away, move away from America. What are your thoughts on that as it relates to just?
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm for it. I think it's wise if you can get a dual citizenship. I think it's wise to be able to have, a property or a home somewhere else. I would tell anyone that's in America that's looking to leave to lean towards countries that have incentive programs for you to come and bring maybe your business or your commerce there. I would also say look towards countries, where you have the ability to own property or own land, because all countries you can't do that if you're a foreigner. I would say look at countries where, depending on, I guess I would say it's a good fit for your lifestyle, right? So if you have children and you have a family, of course, education is going to be a factor, right? If you're a person, let's say you have something like lupus or something like that, it's attacking your immune system on a regular basis. So now we're looking at quality of life, we're looking at health, we're looking at the food, we're looking at the air, we're looking at the levels of stress or the lack of stress that needs to be there. I would say if you're moving into another country too, you need to make sure when we're looking at the map as far as geopolitical interests from a big Chata or big America, having interest there. Because, for instance, I was looking at Panama. I would never go to Panama because I know Big Orange in them, and I know the people that wrote Project 2025, Peter Cottontail, all of them, all those white boys, they want Panama, and they want control over the Panama Canal. You see what I'm saying? So even though I think Panama is a beautiful country, and I was just like, oh, I think it would be great to live here, I don't want to deal with in 5 or 6 years, here comes America, bluyuka, because they want control of the canal. So I would just say, just paying attention to your lifestyle and what area of the globe you're moving to and how safe, you're going to feel there.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, but I'm for it, baby. I'm down for it. I'm looking at buying a property in Thailand right now. I'm trying to decide between Thailand and Vietnam.
That probably upstairs 4 times just to get the stuff to go down.
I'm trying to figure it out right now which one of the countries I want to go to and have another home built.
I was was just about to ask you. Yeah, because like I told you, my husband, he's from Ghana, so he was, we're looking to build in his hometown, but I don't even know if I want to, be in Ghana. I want, like you said, someone like Thailand, like. I don't know.
But see, I feel like Ghana would be different for you because you have an advantage because your husband is from Ghana. So a lot of the treatment, that they put on expats, especially foundational Black Americans that come there, you're not going to experience that because your husband is from Ghana, right? When it comes to, like contracts, ownerships, being able to get deals done and stuff like that, because he's from Ghana, he speaks the language. He can read the language. You got somebody that can look over your contracts. You understand what I'm saying? You have somebody that can make sure your stuff is on the up and up and you're not going to be taken advantage of. So I feel like that's going to be a much different experience for someone in your position than like someone like me going to Ghana and I don't really have any contacts in Ghana.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, if I were you, I would take advantage of it. Shoot.
Yeah, and like I said, his aunt was married to the president, and she has like land and a hotel and all of that. So we do have an advantage there.
Yeah, y'all have a huge advantage. Even getting into business, even being able to own your property, own the homes, own the land. You know what I mean? All of that kind of stuff. Like even the fact that, again, he speaks the language and can read the language, right? So even going through a contract, you don't have to depend on a translator or wonder, is the translator working, with this agent so they can steal this property from underneath me? Because I have read and I have witnessed multiple horror stories with people, and not just in Ghana, just going to other countries in general and being set up and people taking advantage of the fact that they're not from that country and they've paid all this money. They've gone through the process. They've, done new construction, all kinds of stuff, investments into businesses or businesses they thought they were investing in, only to find out once everything was said and done, all of that was really going to the people that were supposed to be helping them in the process.
Wow. Can you give a few countries that you think are like good spaces as it relates to relocating?
I think whenever we start looking at, I like Costa Rica a lot. I think they have a lot of really amazing programs for people specifically coming from America. Canada has a lot of really, really dope programs. And if you're a woman who is thinking about having another child, they have some incredible stuff going on because they're having issues with their population. And so they want to bring in people that want to have families there. Like I said, Thailand, Vietnam, just because of the cost of living. And, you don't really have to worry about a lot going on there from like a geopolitical area. Belize also is really, really incredible. A lot of people don't think about Belize. I've looked into Belize. I think it would be fantastic and fabulous. I don't know. Okay, so this is my thing with the Dominican Republic. The land is beautiful. A lot of them speak English. Your money can go pretty far there, but the colorism there is is a thing for me that like would hinder me. That's the only thing with the DR, because they have a strong disdain for Haitians, and they have a strong disdain towards dark skinned people there. My baby daddy, he dark skinned. So I don't really know about that. You said, what about Panama? Panama is gorgeous. Panama is amazing. Panama was like I said, Panama was one of the first options for me until I realized the current regime and a lot of the people that put together Project 2025, their obsession with Panama and more specifically wanting to control the Panama Canal. And even in Panama, even their government and their president, they're preparing themselves to be able to defend themselves in case America comes over there trying to pull the crap in Panama that they pulled with Venezuela. And that they're pulling with Cuba. They want Panama. They want to be able to control the Panama Canal. Because you have to think about it. America is losing footing over in this area of the world that we have up on the map right now, right? And not only are they losing footing, so now you don't have the ability to control the commerce. A huge amount of things that come to America and that go to Canada, and to Mexico, they go through the Panama Canal. Okay, so they want control of that, and so just because I don't want to deal with any unrest due to America coming around being the big bad bully again, that's the only reason for me that I was just like, okay, even though Panama is gorgeous and beautiful, you know what I mean, and it seems serene and very peaceful and like it's going to be really great for your nervous system and stuff like that, and that's looming like over the shoulder. I feel like I'm just kind of delaying, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, like what's going on here? So yeah, so that's the only thing with Panama. And also you have to keep in mind when you're a foreigner in a specific country and you're a native of the country that they would consider their op, that's not going to necessarily be the best environment for you as well.
It makes sense. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Yeah. But Panama is beautiful. Panama is gorgeous, Charlotte. I love Panama. Panama is one of my favorite places to visit. One of my very, very, very close friends here, she's originally from Panama. Her mom, her and her, I think she was 6 when they moved to the States, and her mom is, she's Panamanian too. And they go home like every, few years and stuff like that. But beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful country, beautiful people. I feel like Panama is a place that's really easy for Americans to acclimate because a lot of people there speak English. The whole shebang. Is just I already know that America is going to be harassing those people. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I know that America is going to be harassing them. And I don't want to be nowhere where America is going to be coming in, harassing and trying to destabilize the government and move out regimes and administrations. And I like, if I'm baby, I want to get away from it. Okay. I just want to be able to go outside and get a mango, I want to go outside and get me a mango, honey, and relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, once your eyes are open, to America and the treacherous things that this country has done to other people in other countries, it's really hard to unsee it, And I've told y'all before, when I was younger, I really bought into the propaganda of America. I really did. I really thought we were the smartest. I thought we were the most technologically advanced. I thought we were the bravest. I thought we were the kindest. I really believed that we had like a democracy here. There's a lot of things that I believed. And then I got older and I started getting more stamps in my passports. And I started traveling, and I would always say, America's not perfect, right? But I enjoy being here, even as a Black American facing racism. You know what I'm saying? Because this is my home. This is where I grew up. Even with that, I was like, America has its problems, but what country doesn't have its problems? And yeah, this is something we got to get past. But overall, I would still want to be here, especially when it comes to women's rights. Okay, in a lot of other countries around the globe, that's something that women don't think about. Other women in other countries, they aren't allowed to be as vocal as us. Right, but now in America, we're facing right now, even losing as women, losing autonomy, losing rights. Okay, they're trying to make it where you can't have a bank account on your own no more as a woman. Now that ain't gonna work for me, especially I'm Big Bank Hank over here. What you mean? What you mean I can't have a bank account, right? So looking. When I think about what I'm accustomed to as far as being a woman, right? In America, as women, we take it for granted that all of us can go to school. It's not like that in every country in the world. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So when you're thinking about like, oh, I'm looking at another country to move to, quality of life is a really big factor, not just how far is my dollar going to go? Like, what is it really going to be like for you to live there? And normally what I recommend for people to do, the same thing I'll do. Once you have settled on a place, or you think that's the place you would like to be, I think you should go and stay there for 30 days. Get a visa and actually go and stay and see what it's like day to day there. And if you really really enjoy it at that point, then you can look into like, okay, let me see if I can rent an apartment maybe for like 3 months, 6 months, a year. And again, for me, ownership is always in mind. Like if I'm purchasing something, if I'm building something, I would like for it to be mine and I can pass it down to someone else in my family, or I have the rights to sell, or whatever it is that I would like to do. Because I'm trying to think, I think it's in Thailand. If you're a foreigner, you can live near the beach, but you like, we can never actually own beachfront property there. I think it's in Thailand, or is it in Vietnam? One of those countries, like you can live near, like I can be in a walk to the beach. You know what I'm saying? But I can never really like own the property that's like right on the beach, which I get it, because you'll have a lot of people from other countries, right, who have the currency exchange is more favorable for their currency, and they're going to come in and purchase cash, and the people from that country would never be able to own that. They never be able to monetize it. They never be able, to put up resorts or hotels or Airbnbs, or put little restaurants on it, or service stations for massages and things like that. So I completely understand wanting to protect your people in that country, or giving them the ability to capitalize right on what's there, on like their sovereign land. So it makes sense too, because if you're looking, we've seen that happen in other countries. Look at Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a part of America, right? It's a U.S. territory. But because of the tax breaks for the wealthy there, like when I first started going to Puerto Rico a long time ago, okay, I know I don't look, it's old, because people like, that's another thing too. Side note, sometimes when y'all be seeing me go back and forth with other people on this app, y'all got to stop assuming that I'm younger than them. Okay. Some of these people, we're in the same age bracket. I just look younger because I moisturize. Okay. In genetics, apparently I'm a person who looks young for my age, but I'm telling y'all this right now. Y'all be thinking that I'm younger than what I am. Okay, and I'm not. Okay, I'm not as young as you think I am. So anyway, when we're looking at Americans and Europeans do this too, going into other countries because our dollar. Okay, because our dollar has a higher value, going in and either driving up the price, so it makes it unaffordable for people that actually live there, right? And the people that live there, they don't have the opportunity to like grow in business and commerce there. You see what I'm saying? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So literally, it makes sense to me when I see other countries and other territories saying, well, because you're not a citizen, you can't own property here, or you can't buy this land, or you can't buy this home. It makes sense to me. So that's something else I would tell you to look into, anybody that's relocating, or anybody that's thinking about relocating outside of America. If ownership is an important thing to you, it is to me. I love the fact that in other countries, when you buy your house or you build your house, that is yours. You ain't got to keep paying taxes. Can't nobody come take it away from you. It's yours. I love that. And there are some countries, y'all, they have programs where you can pay $10,000, $15,000 and just buy your citizenship and do what you want to do. That's coming. Okay. So you got to keep these types of things in mind when you're choosing where you want to go.
Hey, Ashley.
Hey, girl.
Awesome stream. Listen, so I saw a clip where there was these two guys, right? And I believe they were at the World Economic Forum or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the subject popped up about the data centers and where the funding was going to come from, mm-hmm. In terms of trying to get those things continuously up and running, right? And one of the guys had said that they were going to use pensions and saving funds and etc. Then I also came across an article online. I was questioning the source though, but however, a major communication company, right, has a pension asset quoted to be around about 25.9 billion. And I'm wondering if, and supposedly this Verizon, this communication company
Yeah.
is going to, well, allegedly they're going to outsource the steward of their pension assets to an outside entity. So here's my question, right? What does how do we find out what the data centers look like on the ticker tapes? Like, how do we know where, say, like if you have a pension, basically, how does one avoid getting Enron in this situation, if you know what I mean? I'm trying to find the best way to articulate this.
The trading and controlling your investments yourself. Because anytime that you're, working with a group, that they have a mix in their portfolio, right? Of different things that they're purchasing or that they're investing in. Because I don't know if you remember, this was probably like a couple months, well, not quite a couple months ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And I was talking about Blackstone and BlackRock, you remember, and kind of like the issues they're having and stuff we got going on, like on the consumer market and on the dark side. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That what you're talking about ties into all of that.
Right.
So literally the best remedy is either you would have to be with like a smaller firm where they give you a lot of control over what they're investing in, or you independently would take over what's going to be in your portfolio mix. Anytime we have people that are working with these large funds, they're directing where it's going. Right. So like, for instance, we know the SpaceX IPO, right, happened or is about to happen, whatever. I haven't paid attention to the tickers today. I was all over there in the run looking at what's going on. But the IPO for SpaceX was supposed to happen today. Right. So if your fund managers or portfolio managers decide like, hey, we should buy 100,000 shares in that, right, because it's going to give us XYZ as far as a return for this mix, you as an individual, there's not really anything you can do about it. So a lot of times, like, let's say you're contributing to your 401k that your employer has given you. Well, that 401k is being managed by whoever is managing this gigantic fund. So a lot of people don't even know what businesses are in that portfolio or what investments or mix of investments are in the portfolio. So that's why I say just pretty much.
It's real tricky.
Yeah. Like there are people that they don't support the privatization of prisons here in America. But if you go look in their 401k, they have ownership in those same prisons that they're against, but they didn't do it directly, right? They're just putting their money and they're just putting in their contributions. And some fund manager somewhere is deciding where your money is going to as a whole.
Thank you.
Does that make sense? So, and I get it. In those data centers, there's a word that rhymes with illusion and starts with the letter F. That's what those centers really are. It sounds like illusion, but put the letter F there instead. Take the off, put an F there, and go Google those types of centers. That's what they really. That's what they really are.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Thank you.
Yeah, girls, it's too much out here in these streets. I'm telling you, but the way these people. So this is the thing that bothers me about all of this, because all the lies is honestly. They're really unnecessary, because there are so many people in the world that are very self-focused and self-centered And as long as they're getting an advantage, they could give a flying fart. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're lying and covering this up for what? Because there's a lot of people on the planet Earth, they with the ish. You know, they're with it. Piece of confusion. Thank you for my little kitty cats. Meow meow. But they're with the ish. That, you know what I'm saying? So because you have so many people that are down with it, it doesn't make sense to me. All of this weird lying, scheming, conniving, hide it in this, put it in that they are doing. That's the other thing that's very, very strange. But I guess I guess people, they want to keep people, I guess they want people to keep having the feeling that they're decent. And so if we hide it under a bunch of stuff, then no one really has to tell the truth about being unscrupulous. I don't know. I can't quite figure that. I can't quite figure that part out. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing. Like the more of these things that I've uncovered or that I've realized, I'm like, why exactly are we hiding?
As an American, how do you get access to yuan or the Chinese money? Like how does that happen?
You can just go through your bank and you can do different investments, or you can open up bank accounts over there and put X amount of money over there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You said so they're spying on us? Yes, they are. Yes. All your devices spy on you. Your Apple earbuds, your tablets, your phones, your TVs. If it's got a camera on it and a microphone, it's spying on you. Your Alexa, all of it. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. So since I just said that, I'm going to say this, okay? If y'all need help making more money, go to the link in my bio, tap on the big purple button that says Juneteenth deals, okay? You can get you an affordable workshop. I'm doing a one-day workshop. It's called Startup 101, and I'm going to go through all the things you actually need to start making money, because people don't really tell y'all the truth about that. So we're going to cover what you need if you're selling your own products and services, or if you're doing affiliate marketing. Also, I have a 100K lunch strategy. So I'm going to share with you guys what I do to pull in over $100,000 every single month using my social media. And I'm talking about just from selling my own stuff. That does not include what I'm actually getting paid from TikTok or getting paid from Facebook and Threads and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to know how to do that, come to that training. I will be in Washington, D.C. on the 28th of June this month. So I think we only have like 10 or 12 spots. It'll be an in-person workshop, and we're going to be working on sales conversion. And so I need to be able to give y'all individual attention. So we can't have 50, 60 people at the workshop. It's a small workshop. If you want to come to that, you guys will be able to start registering for that on Monday. And then, of course, if you want to work with me for that's it, Dr. Fancy Pants. Of course, if you want to work with me for the next year, I would encourage you to come into Kingdom Essentials and get one of those seats. That's only $997. I think we only have 20 or 25 of those seats. So they're first come, first serve if you want to try and get one of those. But anyway, when you go click the link in my bio, there's a purple button that says Juneteenth deals. It'll get you right to the page. Let me drop it over here for everybody on Facebook, because y'all always be talking about y'all can't find my link. Except for I appreciate it. Shout out to y'all though that came back that was like, oh, I went and asked my son or I asked my daughter and they found the link right away. Shout out to y'all that went and got you some young eyes to come and help you. That's the link right there. I just put it in the chat, copy and paste it. I'm going to get on down because y'all know I just said what I said. So they probably going to try and come and get me if I don't get off of here real soon. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on the planet Earth. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. If it's morning or daytime where you are, have a productive and a prosperous day. If it's evening time, get yourself a good night's rest. And I will see y'all tomorrow around 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to do some educational training. And so we're going to be talking about monetization, more specifically sales conversion. We're going to focus on conversion all weekend. Okay, so everything's going to be how to make a sale, how to sell to a stranger, how to sell to your audience, how to resell to a customer or client you've already had. all of that stuff. All right. Love you guys. And everybody that sent me a gift, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody that tapped the screen, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody that shared today, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody that gave me the heart me's, the thumbs up, the likes on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, thank you guys so much. For all of my panelists that came up to ask questions and share your opinions, thank you guys so much as well. I love everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and I will see y'all tomorrow.